The Elder's scrolls whispered of things that should not be touched. Yet, here, in the dim light of his chamber, Chu Feng traced his fingers across the Elite Armament fan. Its faint, shifting lines were no ordinary ink. They trembled beneath the gaze of his nascent heaven's eyes, forming a half-finished map that pulsed with hidden life. The words, "Spiritual Wolf Immortal Mountain," loomed like a challenge, promising treasures that could elevate a cultivator to unheard-of heights, or devour him entirely. Eggy's voice, filled with excitement and warning, echoed in his mind, yet only Chu Feng could decide whether ambition outweighed caution. With the Son of Magma cradled in his grasp, an unnatural infant born of spirit and magma, the stage was set. The threshold of discovery and danger creaked open, and the winds of fate stirred. Recap. Martial God Asura, chapter 573, 5 and 74 begins where vision meets peril and the unknown awaits. In a world where legends slept in silence beneath the mountains and rivers, where the heavens themselves whispered secrets of forgotten power, Chu Feng unfurled the Elite Armament fan. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, adorned with a picture so blurred it might have been dismissed by any casual observer. But Chu Feng's eyes, sharp with the nascent glow of extraordinary perception, detected a hidden rhythm within the haze, a secret waiting to be awakened. He focused, drawing the spirit power coursing through his veins into the very center of his gaze. As the energy condensed, his eyes transformed. A ferocious light ignited within them, a power both awe-inspiring and frightening. This was the birth of his heaven's eyes. Though he had only brushed against the doorway of this power, its raw potential was undeniable. Even in this nascent state, it allowed him to perceive hidden truths that would elude ordinary eyes. In time, with mastery, Chu Feng would see everything laid bare before him, invisibly and completely. As the heaven's eyes flared, the picture upon the fan began to shift. What had once been a blur of indecipherable lines now began to form coherence. Slowly, a map emerged, half-formed yet potent, revealing its secrets to those who dared to perceive them. In the heart of this emerging map, 4 majestic characters shone. Spiritual Wolf Immortal Mountain. Eggy's eyes gleamed with excitement. "Spiritual wolf?" she breathed, her voice trembling with anticipation. Creatures born from the confluence of natural essence, endowed with singular spiritual power, called spiritual beings. When they manifest, their might can shake the heavens themselves. If this map is true, Chu Feng, the treasures within could fortify your cultivation beyond measure. Chu Feng nodded, tempered with caution. The map may reveal the rough location of the spiritual Wolf Immortal Mountain, but my heaven's eyes are still too weak to trace the inner paths. The spiritual lair, the spiritual veins, these remain hidden. And beyond that, I cannot yet discern the authenticity of this map. A faint sigh escaped him, heavy with the weight of potential yet unrealized. He reflected on the patterns of hidden treasures he had encountered through the pulse-searching method. Some were tombs of ancient cultivators, or artifacts wrought by their hands, man-made marvels infused with power. Others were the strange wonders of nature, birthed from concentrated essence. Among these, some became queer objects, flowers, rocks, trees, or anomalies alive with power and intelligence, yet foreign in form. Others matured into spiritual beings, entities of intelligence and formidable strength, eventually forming human or beast-like vessels from the land itself. These beings required centuries, even millennia, to reach their full might. According to the map, the spiritual Wolf Immortal Mountain was no ordinary peak. It was a cradle of creation, where the spiritual being itself gathered strength from the earth. As its awareness grew, the land reshaped to reflect its immense presence. Once fully matured, such a being could command landscapes, mountain ranges, or sacred forests, its physical vessel as vast as it was powerful. Ancient chants in the pulse-searching method spoke of a spiritual being whose body upon maturation rivaled the size of a continent, a testament to their unparalleled might. Chu Feng's purpose was clear. The spiritual awareness within such a being was a treasure beyond price, a foundation for cultivation that could elevate a practitioner to unimaginable heights. Yet the path to it was treacherous. One had to first locate the spiritual lair, then navigate the intricate veins of spiritual awareness within. Even the map's guidance was limited. With his current level, Chu Feng could discern the general region, but not the finer details. Its authenticity remained a mystery. Eggy's teasing voice cut through the tension. If you fail, it is not the map's fault, but the weakness in your heaven's eyes. Master them, and you will see through all illusions. She smiled, knowing Chu Feng's heart too well. He returned her smile, a glint of determination in his eyes. I hadn't intended to venture yet, given my incomplete command over the pulse-searching method. But the spiritual Wolf Immortal Mountain lies near, close enough that it would be a waste to ignore it. Real or illusion, I will know its truth when I see it. For Chu Feng, even spiritual beings of mere centuries could bestow profound benefits. And judging by the aged aura of the Elite Armament fan, the spiritual being within this mountain had existed long enough to mature into formidable power. Retreat was not an option. Curiosity and ambition propelled him forward. Eggy's lips curled mischievously. Stop making excuses. If you intend to go, then go, but be sure to strengthen yourself first. Chu Feng chuckled softly, a spark of anticipation lighting his features. He withdrew the Son of Magma, his eyes tracing the contours of this wondrous creation. Unlike queer objects, which lack tangible form, or spiritual beings, which melded with the earth itself, the Son of Magma began as a humanoid figure. Its infant form radiated a terrifying potency, an existence that could only be described as a sacred entity, a rare and powerful manifestation of the natural world, unlike any ordinary phenomenon. As Chu Feng studied it, he understood. Here was a being whose spiritual essence did not merely inhabit but embodied its form. The Son of Magma was unique among natural oddities, a force of creation that commanded respect, and a harbinger of the trials and wonders yet to come. Legends whispered that some powers were beyond mortal reckoning, forces so wild, so untamable, that even the most daring cultivators would tremble at their presence. Sacred entities were such powers, ancient, terrifying, and utterly incomprehensible. They were beings whose very existence shook the world, yet their might could rarely be harnessed. To most, they were untouchable, a danger that promised only death to the foolish who sought to meddle. But to Chu Feng, they were not mere threats, they were treasures beyond measure, the rarest of cultivation supplements, capable of accelerating his rise to heights few had ever reached. The Son of Magma, now within his grasp, was such a treasure. Its power simmered with an intensity that made the air around it tremble, and Chu Feng's heart raced with anticipation. "Let me see what secrets you hold," he whispered, eyes glinting with uncontainable eagerness. He did not consume the Son of Magma directly. No, its essence was far too volatile. Instead, he carefully prepared a spirit formation, a cage and a conduit, both binding and channeling the entity's raw energy. Once the formation was set, he stepped inside, heart pounding. The process was delicate. Each strand of energy he drew from the creature was wild, untamed, and almost unbearable to touch. A single tendril of gas entered his body, and Chu Feng felt the raw fury of the Son of Magma coursing through him. His body shook, yet the divine lightning within his Xianxia acted as a shield, consuming the chaotic energy before it could wreak havoc. Not a trace remained. It was absorbed, refined, and transformed. With each pulse, the spirit formation thrummed with power, drawing the layers of the entity's aura into Chu Feng, refining them meticulously. Flames of red and gold flickered around the Son of Magma, signaling its transformation as its essence was absorbed. Even this indomitable, terrifying sacred entity, feared by all, yielded to Chu Feng's mastery. As the last of the Son of Magma flowed into him, Chu Feng's aura soared. From the third level of the heaven realm, he ascended to the fifth. His joy was unrestrained, a smile bright enough to outshine the sun. With his divine lightning amplifying his cultivation, his effective power reached what would be the 8th level of the heaven realm. Nearing martial lord strength, he had become nearly invincible among the heaven realm cultivators. And yet, Chu Feng knew this was not mere luck. It was careful preparation, rare resources, and the inexhaustible cunning of his own techniques that had carried him here. The Son of Magma had been young, barely formed, yet the boon it granted was staggering. He could only imagine the unimaginable strength of a true, fully matured, sacred entity. Beside him, Eggy's own power surged. Absorbing the residual source energy from the Son of Magma, her cultivation leaped from the 2nd level to the 6th of the heaven realm, surpassing Chu Feng. His laughter filled the air, a mix of triumph and admiration. "You've gained more than I did," he said, pride lacing his voice. Eggy's strength was terrifying in its own right. Even those at the 9th level of the Heaven Realm would find her a formidable foe. Chu Feng's joy doubled. His assistant's growth was inseparable from his own journey, and together, they became an unstoppable force. They spoke of the Son of Magma with reverence. Though young, though barely touched by time, it held the mark of a true sacred entity. The implications sent shivers of excitement through them. If an infant of a sacred entity could grant such power, what might a creature that had existed for tens of thousands of years bestow? The two of them, hearts blazing with newfound strength, pressed onward. The map before Chu Feng spoke of a place known as the spiritual Wolf Immortal Mountain, a realm shrouded in legend. Yet, as they ventured through the Eastern Sea region, it became clear that locals knew it by another name, Wolf Ivory Mountain. This mountain, strange and sharp, had risen from the earth a millennium ago. Its peaks, jagged like wolf fangs, bore an uncanny shape. Standing below, Chu Feng could sense its power. It was no ordinary range. Rising into the skies, he sought a vantage point, climbing tens of thousands of meters to take in its full glory. Then, with the piercing clarity of the heaven's eyes, the true wonder revealed itself. The mountain was not merely jagged peaks. Beneath the stone and ivory, a colossal spiritual form slumbered. The outline of a great wolf, a spiritual being that had been gathering its might for over 1,000 years, stretched across the landscape. The energy it emanated was immense, and even in its partial form, it spoke of a power that could one day shake the heavens. Chu Feng's gaze burned with awe and anticipation. This was no simple mountain. This was a gathering of a spiritual being, a step beyond the sacred entities he had just mastered. The promise of what lay within Wolf Ivory Mountain set his heart racing. It was a realm of legendary martial arts, of untold power waiting for the daring and the strong, and Chu Feng was ready to claim it.